start within 2-3 minutes. Okay, ma'am. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the entire Parul Polytechnic Institute, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome all of you on the occasion of one-day online national level seminar sponsored by GUJCOST titled Women and Digital Inclusion in Engineering, which is being organized by Applied Science and Humanities Department of Parul Polytechnic Institute. And the coordinator is Ms. Japanti Desai. Talking about the institute first, the Parul Girls Polytechnic Institute was an integral part of Parul Arogya Seva Mandal since 2005. In the year 2007-8, mechanical engineering program were introduced, and then onward, institute's name has been changed as Parul Polytechnic Institute. The institute always believed in the overall growth with practical knowledge, and for that it was awarded with AICTE CII Award, New Delhi in the year 2015. The institute conducts various workshops for the students to gain knowledge and actively engage in the institute activities. Each and every topic chosen is in the best interest of the students of the institute. In 2018, the department had organized seminar in physics and maths, and again in 2021, one seminar was done in physics and another in maths. In the current year also, we had organized a seminar in chemistry last week. Today's seminar, Women and Digital Inclusion in Engineering, would help women to know the importance of digital inclusion for promoting rights and development. To share the expertise and the thoughts on the above topic, we have invited the expert, Dr. Swati Chakrabarty, working as Assistant Professor at the Institute of Legal Studies and Research, GLE University, Mathura, and Dr. Nityangini Jhala, working as Assistant Professor in Applied Science and Humanities Department at Parul Institute of Technology, Parul University. Starting with the first session, first I would like to introduce the subject expert, Dr. Swati Chakrabarty. She is an Assistant Professor at Institute of Legal Studies and Research, GLE University, Mathura. She is also Assistant Professor of Human Rights and Human Studies in Team Leads EdTech, known as Full Guru EduServe Private Limited. She is International Fellow of KAICIID at Vienna, Austria. She has done her PhD in Human Rights from University of Calcutta with a thesis on Right to Education, a study on tribal women of rural West Bengal. She was attached with the National Human Rights Commission India as a research consultant also. She is the founder of web platform for Dialogue with a series of webinars, talks, and publications. She was Managing Director of Eurasian Doctoral Students Academy. She also had a good teaching expertise as lecturer in the English College, Calicut, Kerala. Her special lectures are on human values and ethics to management, studies, and dignity and rights. She is also a member of Executive Council at National Center for Inclusive Growth and Development Research, Mysore. Member of Review Committee of Raj Rajeshwari Journal of Physical, Psychological and Educational Research. She is also the editor of the books like Handbook of Dialogue and Development, India, China, EU, Handbook of Human Rights and Tribal Studies, and many more. She has a wide range of international connection with her network through different seminars, conferences, and workshops. It's a privilege to welcome you, ma'am, and we are highly honored to invite you. And you also accepted our invitation.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Good morning, everybody. It's a very, very auspicious start with you, Vaishali ma'am, and all the fellows and dignitaries, and my other I would say that Dr. Jajala ma'am, that I am very, very feeling honored today. And starting with the day with very, very important topic, I'm going to share the screen first to understand very easily. So can you able to see my screen, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today's topic is women and digital inclusion, new vision. Why it's new vision? Because in this particular scenario, with 2 years journey of pandemic, we came to know about one thing, that virus didn't discriminate between men and women. It is the person, it is the human beings who are creating sort of discrimination. And digital world, digital era that has been entered from 90s to till 21st century, India is also becoming into the superpower very quickly. With the visionary leadership from our leader, and India's growth rate is going to be high, very high, and how we can able to create the environment with digital friendly and inclusive for men and women both. So with this today's particular talk, I would say, or interactive session, we can able to dig out some of the findings, some of the objectives, and also the issues, challenges, problems, but with a very positive result, with the outcome. And we can able to understand that how this issues, problem can create actually the opportunities for the women themselves. So let's start with a very, very important topic, that is the digital inclusions. Digital inclusion is nothing but your understanding about how you would like to know with the performances, that is the meaning of digital technology. Digital technologies are electronic tools, systems, devices, and resources that generate, store, or process data. Digital technologies are continuously evolving and expanding day to day. They include the internet and mobile technologies, digital network content, services, and application, old and new systems of media, communication, and information, connected devices, and environments also, because environment is also playing a vital role in terms of the digital inclusion. Virtual and augmented reality, that is now transformed to artificial intelligence, and virtual reality is transformed to metaverse with a realistic view with a virtual reality, including machine learning, robotics, automatic systems, and data analytics. Biometrics and biotechnology is also very important part of the digital era. Online experiences and opportunities are critical for children's as well as for young people's development across a wide range of areas. This includes engagement in online education, both formal and informal learning, access to critical information and support related to the health and well-being, participation in creative and cultural practices, civic engagement, how much you are engaged with your civic activity, community activity, that is also creating tremendous effect to your learnings as well as with the formal and informal. Expansion of ideas, sharing your overviews, thoughts, opinion, of course, your leisure times, how you are spending your extra time after doing your work, that is also creating very, very impact, positive impact to towards your study, towards your work. Connected, how much you are connecting towards your peer groups, with your activity, with your behavioral pattern, with your experience sharing, so peer groups, that is your friend circles, and searching for employment, career information, entrepreneurship opportunities. Digital literacy is increasingly seen as an essential skill for employability and has been linked to higher earning potential, and new economic opportunities. Overall, 90% of jobs worldwide have a digital component. According to United States 2018, they have published the data. According to them, it is being proved that the overall job development is being actually done with a digital component, and digital inclusion is being part of this. However, distinct geographic, economic, and social gaps in access to the persisting ideology, including those related to disability and gender. Now, when we are talking about the disability, I would like to prefer the word differently abled, because with this immense support of technology, machine learning, and machinery support, this digital era has created tremendous space and support system to those who are differently abled, and they are doing brilliant work in their own field. Same thing we could able to say for the gender inclusions, like men and women can able to have the equal opportunity with this particular digital component and machines, so that it would be very easy for them to access. The main issue is they wouldn't able to access it. Lack of access, or I would say sometime we would create differences, sometime we would create discriminatory obligations, digital divide between men and women, so that they wouldn't able to have flourish their existing potentiality. So due to lack of support system, accessibility is one of the major term, I would say, for this digital inclusion. Proper digital inclusion wouldn't be happen due to this kind of accessibility. The gender digital divide community of knowledge is overwhelming, focused on women above 18 years, of course, and this leaves a significant knowledge gap on the digital realities. For today's generation of girls, however, limited available data does demonstrate that girls face similar patterns as women, including lower access and use. There is similar regional varieties and significant gaps in the use of more sophisticated technological tools. For example, smartphone access and range of users. This is according to the data from Girls Effect and GSMA 2020 and Girls Effect 2018. So according to the data, it has been proved that there is a huge gap of the usage pattern of men and women and girls and boys. It is very, very important that when we are discussing and talking about digital inclusion, one thing that would come into our mind first, that is gender divide. What is the gender digital divide? Gender inequality in the physical world is replicated in the digital world. So there is a large gap in women and girls digital adoption and use compared to men and boys. However, most data available to quantify this gap focus on the adults only, not children. The International Telecommunication Union, ITU, reports that more than 50% of world's women are offline. And according to this, they have more pronounced in developing countries. So in developed countries, the data would be different, but for the developing countries like India, the data has been shown that there is a huge gap of the usability and accessibility with this particular performance of internet usage, where the internet penetration rate for adult women is 41% compared to 53% for men. What do we know about the digital divide for girls? As per the data analysis up to date, there is little research on gender differences in digital access for children under the age of 18. However, the limited data available does indicate a similar pattern of lower access for the particular usage for girls. As for women, in countries with the data, girls aged 15 to 19 years were less likely than boys to have used the data in the past 12 months, and they also had lower mobile phone ownership. So that is very common issues even for India also. If we can see the urban rural scenario in India, we can able to find out there is a huge gap between the usage pattern as well as the smartphone ownership pattern also. Even within the pattern of the rural scenario also, we can able to see which part is nearby to the urban place or semi-urban region. There is a huge accessibility of smartphone. But if we are talking about the data connection or the internet accessibility, there is a massive gap, or the percentage of usability is not as per the use in the metro cities or the urban areas or the semi-urbans. So there is a huge gap on that. Though government is trying their best to provide them smartphone and internet with a very, very lower rate due to the online education system, which has been entitled and entrusted due to the pandemic. And COVID-19 taught us so many things. With that, opportunities, lots of fatal cases and lots of economical deprivation had been happening. But apart from that, one very positive thing is the usability of the digital world has been increased rapidly. Within these 2 years, the girls, the women, they came to know so many challenges, economical challenges, physical challenges, mental challenges, as well as harassment. If we would say 50% harassment has been increased, domestic violence increased from 50 to 70%. Unwanted pregnancies was on high. Apart from that challenges, we have the opportunities to learn something new, and that is the usability, how to use the smartphone, how to attend online regular classes, how to deal with the issues of digital barriers. So with these challenges, they have a new opportunities, and that's why my today's talk is on new vision. We have challenges, we have problem issues. Apart from that, we by myself or by yourself have to solve the issues. So number one is smartphone ownership. What is the percentage of smartphone ownership that we need to find out, and what is the gap? So as a researcher, as a student, you need to find out the solution by your own self by doing a small research within your own community. So you can find out that who are going to access the smartphone regularly and what is the percentage of their daily usage of their data consumption. So with that, you can have the idea that in a particular area within your diameter, that how many people are using the smartphone with a particular usage of mobile data as well as the broadband connection. Now, if we are talking about the broadband connection, that is also creating a tremendous effect in terms of the urban-rural scenario in India. It is not the scenario for the developed countries. I'm talking about the developing countries like India, and even if we are talking about the Southeast Asian countries, our neighborhoods, they are also facing similar challenges. During this pandemic in Bangladesh, there is a massive demand of data connectivity, and there was a huge gap with that. So if we can able to create the telecommunication support with the international communication and international policy makings, I'm sure we can have a better future in a collaborative way. So we can think about in this way also that international relation is also depending on the telecommunication and regular interval meetings, and with this online meeting is being very, very easy accessibility methods nowadays. We need not to travel, but with the telecommunication meetings and with the phone calls, with the regular intervals, we can have proper dialogue. That is also creating positive understanding with a regular day-to-day update as well as day-to-day activity sharing, which is actually creating a positive outcome in a long run. Because once we are going to stop our dialogue, our conversation, that is the creating problem, and that is the starting point of our any sort of issues and challenges. So with that telecommunication support, we can surely able to manage the situation. Now, the ICTs for the inclusive development and women empowerment. It is a vital to find ways to empower women to participate in designing, building, and leading our shared digital future. This will require not only the decision of policymakers, but also understanding societies and the commitment of leaders. So that is a very, very important part with the ICT for inclusive development and women empowerment. If we really want to empower the women who are already empowered, what we need to empower the environment. If we can empower the environment, automatically the counterpart of our society, they will able to enhance themselves with their own potentiality. So it is the kind of the support system that we must need to create for them. They would automatically grow up with their own ability and own potentiality, because the women themselves have lots of potentiality, have lots of empowerment within themselves. So women empowerment is actually the environmental empowerment that we need to create with the support of the digital, technological support and inclusive growth. In this particular scenario, presentation, graphical presentation, you can able to see that this is the recent trends of the male-female, the usability with this particular internet users, Facebook, e-commerce, digital literacy, and political tweets. So you can able to see that there is a very, very less amount of political tweets by the women. Why? We don't know the reason. The reason we know, that is the lack of decision making. Women from the very early childhood days, they are not very much we would say that they are not into very much decision making role from their family. They are exceptional, but more or less all the families, it's been driven by the patriarchal societies, and mostly the major decision have been taken by our male counterparts. Some families are exceptional. I'm not taking all the families, but it is the real scenario in all over the India. So the political consciousness and political awareness is not very much discussed within themselves. Even when I was in school and I was children, that time I was a child, that I wasn't very much sure that which particular political party I need to think about. But then with the help of my family, I would came to know with the idea that which political party is having what theoretical perspective. So with the theoretical analysis is very important, with understanding of basic theories of those particular political agenda as well as political overviews. So we can able to see that there is very less amount of political tweets in the Twitter handle by the female in India. And Facebook usability is also been very less till date. E-commerce site, it's mostly being handled by the male members, and e-commerce site in the urban area is much more dominated by female. Digital literacy is more or less better in position, I would say, but political understanding, political consciousness, awareness is being very less among females in India. Where do we stand today? As things stand today, many women are being still left behind the digital development, and the gap can reach 33% in LDCs. So reasons behind the gender digital gap are varied and complex. And the scenario and situation is really, really complex because day by day, we are depending on digital era mostly. So this is a high time when we have to think about that how women can be very, very effectively able to grab the opportunity that has been created with digital literacy. So in this way, we can have a structural inequalities such as found in the income, education, and opportunity. Other inequalities based on location. Yes, geographical factor is a huge factor. We can't be assured that in a very remote area, we would able to create good broadband system or data connectivity would be good. But apart from that, we are going to continuously creating the environment which would be good for the women and female and girls. So location, race, sex, class, they are also the major factor variables for creating the inequalities. Policies to achieve gender digital inclusion cannot be concerned with digital policies alone, but must be integrated across the broader initiatives related to all sectors of the economy, society, and culture. So with the policy understanding, we can able to create the digital inclusions concerning with the digital policies that is being written, mentioned with different articles and with a particular draft. So with that, we can have integrated across the broader initiatives related with all sectors into economic sectors, societal sectors, and cultural sectors. Women's digital inclusion, global effects. ICT is identified as a critical enabler and means to implement and achieve the 2030 agenda and its related SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. ICT plays a crucial role to make development activities more transparent, more efficient, more innovative, and more inclusive. So with that, we can be sure that with this particular global efforts that is going to be created with the new trends, that is going to be a mark, and it is creating a particular goal for Indian scenario also to reach to the position. And if India would like to reach to the top position within 10 years, within 2030, that is coming very soon because already it's 2020 and 22. So with this particular scenario, if we would really like to achieve the position in the world vision, we must provide equal opportunity for men and women. And with this, we can able to connect it with each other very crucially. And with this, we can be very much sure that with the understanding of digital literacy and digital media platform, we can able to grab the position very soon. So in this way, we can able to reach to the position that how women digital inclusion is being needed. And what are the main challenges and what are the action plan that we need to follow with particular understanding that the gender gap is being very, very accompanied with the meaningful digital use, because there is a huge gender gap of the meaningful digital usage. Several studies have found that there is a huge gap within the family. So if we are talking about the equality in the society, first and foremost thing we need to do that is the connectivity within the family. not the digital connectivity, starting with the human connectivity, human equilibrium. And that is being very, very important with this particular scenario. And with that, we could able to learn about more facts and figures. That is how we can able to create equal position in the society. Education, knowledge sharing, skill development. These are the major thrust or key areas where we can able to connect. So equality would come first with your knowledge, with your education. Starting with your day with the education from the family, equality is coming from the family. Digital literacy would come later on. First, the foremost thing is literacy. Then you can able to grab digital literacy. So how much we are educated, how much we are literate, that will be taken to us to the digital era. Artificial intelligence, virtual reality, that will come later on. Starting with the family, with the equal opportunity for the male, female, both in the society. And this would involve with a particular action plan to close gender gap, launched at the Women's Empowerment in Digital Age high-level meeting during the World Initiative in New York. So 15 December 2015, that has been taken care. With the action plan sets out a framework for critical actions to foster and to accelerate inclusive and sustainable development by closing digital gender gap and the harnessing the transformative potential of ICTs for women empowerment. The involved parties who were the signatory of that particular convention or the treaty, so the involved parties issue the action plan to encourage the stakeholders involved in the post-2015 process, including governments, the private sectors, NGOs, that is a non-governmental organizations, civil societies, IGOs, international intergovernmental organization, to unify efforts and build synergies across international development processes, and efforts towards closing digital gender gap through converting shared commitment into action. So what would be the action? That is very important, because with this action we can able to understand that how much it is relevant.
मुझे ने 5 मिनिट में 10-15 मिनिट में આવું છું નીચે જ છું 314 માં હો ને તમે અહીંયા રહેજો અને જો કોઈ આવે ને તો બધાને અહીંયા જ બેસાડજો હો 11:30 કોઈ આવે ને તો હું 15 મિનિટ માં આવું અને કઈ પણ હોય નીચે છું હો આવું છું હા ત્યાં જ બેસું
Hello.
Yourself.
Yes, sorry, ma'am. You can just continue with your session. Sorry.
Okay, so these are the in this particular pie chart, I would say. Here is some key focus on the SDG and ITCs. These are the main key focus on ITCs goals. So they are the ITCs as the enabler. Enabler means they will create and enabling more gender specific ideologies to enhance the digital inclusion in the society. Number one is no poverty, no hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, clean energy, good jobs and economic growth, innovation. That is very important, innovation and infrastructural development, because here the digital era would be started and growing much more faster. Reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities. responsible consumption, because in that way, with the responsible consumption, we can able to safeguard our existing resources, because our resources are very limited. So if we are going to finish, it will not be left for our next generation. And that's why the concept of sustainability would come into our mind. And in actual scenario, if we can able to create the sustainable society, we must able to be a responsible consumption, protect the planet. That is the environmental crisis, the climate hazards is also included. Life below water, how it is being related with the digital literacy, with the innovation, new technological equipment would definitely able to enable to safeguard to the planet, to the life below the water, life on land also being included with this, because in the engineering, in mechanical, all the sectors who are directly involved to create the planet, the environment much more sustainable, developed and equitable for each and every living being for this world. Not only the human, but this planet is for all. And that concept must be integrated with the understanding of engineering student, as well as for the understanding of social science student. So here is the point when we are being merged all the subjects all together. Why? Because there is a wide range of understanding about the execution of our technology, but with a humanitarian approach. And here the sustainable world is creating the opportunity to work together with a basic understanding of human rights, humanitarian approach, with a developmental approach to the scientific parameter, with the scientific application. And that is the challenging task for the engineering students. Why you are going to learn the engineering? What is the purpose of learning engineering? The purpose is to create better world for the next generation, so that you can feel proud that yes, I could do something, I have done something with my own innovation and sustainable way. Peace and justice. Last but not the least, with the partnership for the goals. Why partnership? Because as I already mentioned, that with the existing scientific background, you need to use the humanitarian approach in your creation, in your innovation. And with these challenges, I'm sure that with this, you can able to enable yourself for the better future for your own self as well as for your next generation. So these are the main action plan that I have already mentioned, that the involved parties, how they would create and some technical glitches always been a part of our journey, the digital meetings. So these are the action plans I have already mentioned. And with this action plan, we have equal opportunity for quality education. Goal number 4 of SDG have mentioned that quality education target 4B by 2030, the substantially increased support for scholarship that's available to developing countries, in particular LGCs and SIDS and African countries, for enrollment of higher education, including vocational training and information and communications technology, technical, engineering and scientific programs in developed countries and other developing countries. So these are the point when we are already entered into the digital world by 2015. It's already halfway we have crossed, and this is the journey we need to continue with our great potentiality as an Indian. We need to perform the duties with our traditional belief system that Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that means the world is our family. So this concept is very, very vital, and in this way we can able to create the technical support to come over the barriers, how to deal with the barriers, how to deal with the cultural barriers, how to deal with the religious barriers, how to deal with the racism, the technical support. With the technologies, we don't know that who is from other community, who is from other race, who is from other religion. We all know that is the technical support, the service provided by that person. That is creating the opportunity. So this digital era is giving you the opportunity to work something together without any prejudice, without any discrimination. Discrimination could be anything. Discrimination is only the state of your mind. It is the commitment by your work with the technical support, with the services. So think about the work, the contribution, not their culture, not their language, not their race, not their religion. Goal number 5, gender equality. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Target 5B, to enhance the use of enabling technologies, in particular the ICTs, to promote women empowerment. That is very important. Why it's very important? Because sometimes it's believed that women may not be able to be a good engineer. Why? Because with their physical support, they may not able to do that. It's an old story. It's an old story. Women have already proved themselves. With the flourishing nature of the women, she already reached to the moon, and still we are thinking that we need a boy for our family. Still son preference is there. Why? It's only state of our mind. The previous prejudices, the existing notion about society, it's already been a part of our culture, part of our family's traditions. We need to think differently. We need to create the example for the society that how women are being already empowered, how with the action plan, how with the existing policies, we could able to create environment for them. Goal number 9, that is more resilient infrastructure. Build a resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Target 9.C, significantly increase access to ICTs and strive to provide universal and affordable access to internet in least developed countries by 2020. That was the challenge that was already over. But somehow we have able to create. I'm sure that even in the very rural area where I worked with the Santals and the indigenous community in India, they have also not very much high-speed internet, but accessibility has been there. It's already reached. We have lots of opportunities, but what we need to create, that is our self-motivation to make them understand that they are also part of this society. So many existing plans, policies, scholarships have been there. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge of information of that particular existing policies or the scholarships. So it is not only the duty of the executives, not only the duty of the block development officials, particular blocks or panchayat, but I think it is the duty of yours, It is a human responsibility that whenever you are going to learn about any existing plans, policies, scholarships, or any information, just try to penetrate and share them with others, so that the sharing information that wouldn't be not very much valuable to you, but it would be more precious to other person. That is the digital literacy. Digital literacy doesn't always mean to have this good quality of smartphone or internet. Yes, it's a part, but this information sharing could be happen from mouth to mouth. So the information sharing can be happen with a positive dialogue sharing, conversation. Now, last but not the least, partnership for the goals. Goal number 17, strengthen the means of the implementation and realization of the global partnership for sustainable ICTs is identified as critical for enabling implementation for agenda as a whole. So with that, we can able to understand that the partnership between the university, the partnership between the institution is also create much more effective and enabling strong collaboration between the universities. And this is the way when we are going to transform the new era, new vision to the education policy. Universality is one of the major techniques that we can use. We need to perform certain indigenous own identity. Maybe your university would have the identity, and that with the identity, you can have your add-on knowledge from the other collaborators. Mainstreaming of the indigenous population was been very, very challenging issues. But with their own existence, with their own identity, if they would be part of the mainstream, the indigenous community, for example, that would be also very, very important for the society. So they would not feel excluded, rather they would feel included for this into the society particularly. Same thing I'm talking about the women, same thing I'm talking about the other gender. As soon as you are going to accept that they are part of our society, I'm talking about the third gender, as soon as you as a person accept as a person, not as a gender, you already included. And inclusion has been happening like this. The digital inclusion is very important and playing a vital role. Within this 2 years of journey of the pandemic, we would able to learn so many things. This is a great learnings from this particular crisis period, that within this crisis also we are being together. We are united. And the contribution of women in this particular period is mesmerizing. They struggled within their family, they struggled for their livelihood, and they learned a new technology, that is the usage of smartphone. The usage of smartphone is increased rapidly within these 2 years. Now the digital infrastructure. Within infrastructure, practical solutions that increase access, affordability, and usage are critical. International design that locate public internet access points, a safe space, for example, libraries and community centers, is good start. Other interventions that support the closing of adoption gaps, improve the affordability of device and data plans, and tailor digital skills program for women. Traditionally, they have been very, very entrust into the universal services and access funds that can help. However, only 4 out of 69 countries have developed these funds to close the gender digital divide. device affordability schemes also show the promise. So the recently approved, I'm talking about the example in Uganda because that is a very challenging task for the African government because they do not have any sort of support from any government initially. So they have created their own fund, and for this particular project, Uganda Digital Accuracy Project, that will evaluate some of these innovations. I'm taking as a good example or good governance example so that India can also create for their own. And with this, I'm sure Indian government already securing so much fund to create the public space to use the internet. Like for example, libraries must have the free internet for the students. All the institutions have already paying a huge amount for the free internet usage. Now, digital public platform. Access to digital public platforms often requires digital identification, which women lack compared to men. Barriers those women face often include legal requirements to present additional documents, for example, a marriage certificate. Sometimes it's necessary. Though it's not mandatory, but sometimes it is being necessary to show the marriage certificate. High registration cost and inconveniently located registration point also deter women. So they are not feeling comfortable to travel the distance to perform the digital public platform that couldn't be accessed by the women regularly. So that is also creating trouble for them. Apart from this, we can able to create a safe space. That is also a lack for the women using internet. Sometimes they are being bullied. Sometimes some sexual harassment is been also taking place. Online sexual harassment, virtual harassment is been very regular practice during any online classes. So we must need to be very careful while using the online classes and digital literacy. Apart from all these challenges, barriers, problems, we must need to find out its appropriate solution. And with this, I'm going to stop myself, expecting some of the questions, and I hope I will answer them. Thank you so much. And here the floor is open for discussion. So I'm going to sip some water and yes, Vaishali ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us today. It was very nice listening to your session. Any questions? Attendees?
Thank you much. It's ma'am, it's really fascinating that we have already entered into 2020 and 22. So even this time also we have so many challenges because the lack of connectivity is one of the issue, and once the women is ready to grab any new technology, because I think women have the lots of potential to learn something very new very quickly, but at the same time we may not able to provide them laptop or tab even. But I think government tried their best, because I can say for the West Bengal also, the 11th standard student, they could able to have the tab for their examination. I think even in Gujarat also. So I think, it's a very great step by the government that they are trying their best to solve the issues, and that is the plus point and positive side. So if as an educator, what would be the key point and key challenges that the students are facing, if we just point out after this particular session, and with the report, if we can publish as a summary of our findings, I think that would be a great add-on afterwards, because otherwise what will happen, we finish our lecture and forget about it. So nothing will happen as an extract of this particular webinar. And I'm sure that Parul University will definitely do the best, because they have a wonderful international collaboration, international students from all over the world. So I'm sure that Parul University will definitely do something afterwards. And with the feedback from the student, with the feedback from all the faculties, they would suggest something that how we can able to enable much more effective outcome of this particular digital literacy, and how the engineering student can utilize to create different types of innovation with their projects. So this is kind of a starting of the project. This is not a lecture, but I would say this is an eye-opening or eye-opening session for the student who would really like to integrate humanities with engineering. That is very important, because nowadays, if we only based on theories and not the practical implementation of the theories, and if we may not able to create the bridges between the humanities as a subject to the science subject, it is very difficult to flourish, or very difficult to innovate new ideas. So that is my commitment to the society, to motivate people to do something new with the new innovative ideas and application of the theories. So thank you so much, and here I'm going to end myself. And thank you so much, Vaishali ma'am and Hemal sir.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And yes, you said the right thing, that we would try our best to share the report to our management also. So we will look forward for it also. And we will share the report with you too. And yes, that is true that along with the theory things that we learn from you, that practical application should also be there, visible. We'll take care of it, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us. And there are no Q&A right now. If there will be any query, we will let you know afterwards. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us. Yes, bye. Hello, Nityangini ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes. So, are you ready for second session?
Yes,
So we'll carry on, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sure.
So, shall I give your introduction for just a minute? Yes. So we will start move towards the second session. The expert for second session is Dr. Nityangini Jhala, who is working as assistant professor in Applied Science Department of Parul Institute of Technology since 2013. She is having a wide experience of teaching at various courses in Parul University and has published 8 research papers in national as well as international journals under her credit. She is also the Women Development Cell Coordinator at Parul University, who is actively involved in conducting events for female students and staff at the university. We are privileged to welcome you here, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am,
And yes, you can
for the
start with
lovely
the
introduction. And I'll just share my
yeah,
PPT.
sure. Done.
Okay. So I'll just move to the other slide. I hope it is
Yep.
going. Yes?
Yes,
It is visible?
yes, perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you so much. So let me thank for the lovely introduction to Vaishali ma'am, and thank you so much to invite me for this seminar, to the head and principal of PPI and also all the organizers. So why are we having such seminars? Why are we having such seminars on empowerment, women empowerment? It is actually there because it is needed, because there is a gap. So we are having such empowerment activities just to close this gender gap. So how we should go ahead with this? So let me explain my topic. It is on empowered women in digital engineering era. Okay, we are in digital engineering era, and what is the role of women and how we should empower women according to this new era. Now, what is digital engineering? So digital engineering is the practice in which new applications are conceived and delivered, encompassing the methodologies, utility and process of creating new digital products end to end. Digital engineering leverages data and technology to produce improvements to applications or even entirely new solutions. So what is the role of women over here? There's the digital engineering. So we want to focus on where is the gap. So digital technologies are a double-edged sword for the women's digital women, for the world's women. Men's greater access to these technologies are putting women risk of being left even further behind economically and socially. Women can tap the full power of digital technologies, then the vital new opportunities will open up for them. So if we understand there is a gap, and not only in India, all over the world there is a gap, that women are not so greater access to the technology as compared to men. And according to the estimates by the GSM Association, women's access to the internet and mobile phones is about 85% of the level for men on average, and a total of 1.7 billion women in low and middle income countries are still unconnected. This severely limits the prospects of women and girls. So you can see where is the gap, how much is the gap, and where it is needed. Why do we need such activities? Because we want to close this gap. Now digital technology, if we talk about the role of women in digital technology, like as a part of International Women's Day celebration in Parul University, we had the movement Break the Bias this year. So we are not very biased that we want women to leadership, women to those roles, but what we want is we want to break the bias. We want equal contribution of both males and females, so there is no such bias. We want to break this bias. Now what if we use of the use of digital technology, women will be easily able to access finance with mobile banking, enabling them to avoid long journeys to a branch. Sometimes, you know, in our country, even in developed cities, women are not going to bank, they don't know anything. If they want to deposit some money in the bank, they are dependent on the males of their home. So why is this gap? They don't know how to fill up that slip, they don't know mobile banking, they don't know net banking. Where is the gap? Because we are little back in digital technology. So if we are there, no one is going to take your part. You can individually operate your own account, you can take your own decisions. So likewise, technology enabled healthcare delivered via phone, tablet improves health outcomes as it reaches women in remotest areas, sparing them a long and often risky trek to see a doctor. So even for medical, we need that women are not allowed to go alone. There is someone always accompanying them to a hospital. Okay, so we want to close this gap. Women should be able to take their decision. Women should be able to travel wherever they want to go. The time-saving potential of digital technology technologies is so great that they make the difference in enabling women to seek paid employment. Today, women undertake 3/4 of all unpaid care work, producing output of around $10 trillion or 13% of global GDP, none of which is translated into income, let alone economic power. So it's not that women are not working, women are working, but there is a gap. Even in the employment opportunities, there is a gap. So, to be smart, the digital revolution will need to be inclusive. Otherwise, if we are not gender inclusive, you can see that the digital revolution will not be complete without the other one. So where do we want to see this gender gap closing? Everywhere, even at the employment opportunities. Like sometimes there are some roles, employment opportunities where women have, where they are not, women are not expected to stay back at workplace. Why? Women are not sometimes getting some roles at workplace. Why? Because of the gender gap. Equal employment opportunities are still not there in the women. Why? Because of the gender gap. So we want to overcome these opportunities. Now the world is undergoing a fundamental transformation that is changing the way we live. Now of course, before some time, like this is the new development, the women were not even allowed to work. Everything has changed, the time has changed. This has far-reaching implications for the role of women in society in general and in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, as you know, in STEM particular also. So in parallel, what has been termed the fourth industrial revolution is disrupting governance systems, industries and the labor market as cyber physical systems and become more sophisticated. So the role of the women, now they are getting job opportunities, a lot of employment opportunities are also there, but sometimes at some roles there are few people who are not going to recruit a female for some post just because the female is unmarried. She might move somewhere after she is married, just because if she is married she is going to take a maternity leave soon, just because she can go anywhere, and there is no such consideration for the male person. The male person can also go anywhere, but there is a gender gap where they are not they are thinking that if we recruit a female, she will not be able to stay back after the work timing. So we want to remove this gap. Even if women are capable of doing everything, they are fine with staying after the work timing, but still there is a gap because there is a gap in the scene. Okay, so as more low-skilled jobs become automated, having a higher level of education and skills will become increasingly sought after in the job market. Women must not miss out on the jobs of the future. The United Nations anticipates that women will lose 5 jobs for every one gained through Industry 4.0, compared to the loss of 3 jobs by men for every one gained. According to collaborative study by 29 United Nations programs, more than 7.1 million jobs will have been displaced by 2020 and half of current jobs will have disappeared by 2050. For women to seize upon the opportunities offered by the fourth industrial revolution, there will need to be a level playing field in terms of access to enablers such as education and information. However, women remain a minority in digital information technology, computing, physics, mathematics and engineering, the very fields that are driving the fourth industrial revolution and thus many of the jobs of tomorrow. This trend is all more problematic, and in that there is a skill shortage in many of these fields, such as in artificial intelligence. You know, artificial intelligence is the recent trends, and there is a skill shortage if we talk about women. We'll also discuss how many roles are taken up by different fields. So this trend suggests that progress towards righting the gender imbalance could be compromised unless strenuous efforts are made by the government, economic and corporate levels, not only to attract girls and women to these fields, but above all to retain them. Women are leaving technical fields in greater numbers than men. They cite workplace conditions, lack of access to creative roles, and a stalled career as the primary reason for this decision. The digital gender divide. If we talk about the digital gender divide, today globally there are some 250 million fewer women online than men. They are not fine with the digital use, even with the mobile phone. This is especially worrying as the gender gap in terms of internet penetration has been increasing since 2013. If we see East Asia and Pacific is in that, it's only 3%. 3% share of females is there out of 14 million. In South Asia, it is better, it is 38%. If we talk about Latin America and Caribbean, it is only 5% share of women. So then if we talk about Middle East and North Africa, the share of women, share of females is only 8% out of 8 million. If we talk about Europe and Central Asia, the share is 4% out of 4 million. So you can see the gender gap all over the universe by just a glance of this, that still compared even in the fully developed countries there is a gender gap which has to be removed. Then but still we can say that India is not still that bad, because even in the developed countries there is a bias, there is a gap. India is still doing its way. However, emerging economies show encouraging counter trends. India, and together with the affordability of the technology, lack of relevant knowledge and skills in using digital tools are among the main reasons for the digital gender divide worldwide. Now, why is this there? Why all over the world the lack of use of digital tools is there? How? How can we overcome this? We should, we have poverty over here, they are illiteracy in India. We can train them how to use a mobile phone, even if they can't read. Some are using mobile phone. They can be helped. Such training should be there. We should perform such social activities at such areas so that this gap is covered. In addition, socio-cultural perceptions are often reported among the top barriers for women in owning and using a mobile phone, especially in rural zones of developing countries. Now, there are still places where women are not allowed. They are not given the tools of digital technology. Why? Because the other people say, or the other gender feels that they don't require. Why? If the males require every digital tool, why do females do not require? If they will not own a mobile phone, they will not be able to use the mobile phone. If we give them, they will learn. And if it is in your hand, you are going to learn the device. Not only mobile phone, every digital tool. If we are talking about digital engineering, after they can use the laptop, they can use the iPad, they can use the mobile phone. Every tool should be used by the women. So as we talked about socio-cultural perceptions, so we don't know about other countries. In their countries also socio-cultural perceptions are there, but we know in India clearly they are there. And so such workshops, as I told, they should be performed so that we can close this gap. Women are significantly less likely to choose natural sciences, engineering and ICT studies. You must have heard that generally in ICT studies and engineering, natural sciences, we have very few female students. Why? What is the reason? We all teach in engineering and technology, So there are very few girl students. If I talk about ICT, very few girl students. Out of 60, I hardly can see 5 to 10 girls in one class. Where is the gap? Because whenever a girl is going to choose their career, even at that time, at the time of career opportunities, they are not given all the available options. They are not given the option of engineering, they are not given the option of ICT, they are not given the option of choosing natural sciences. Why? Because maybe the timings are such, women are given such choices, women are given such choices where there is a timing flexibility, so that you can reach home early. That is a trend. Then women are given some flexibility that you don't need to travel so far. Why? If the men can travel 50 kilometers one way, why can't the women travel? So there are some biases at the time of choosing the career. Only after they have completed the 12th class, there are options. For men, generally everyone sends them to engineering and doctor, and for women, they are advised you can do something where you can have flexible work timings, where you can reach home early, so that you are fine, you are at home on time. But why? So these opportunities are seeing the bias. You can see on the graph that different countries are given. In Indonesia, you can see very few. The blue represents the females and the green represents the males. So very few females are there for such studies, where we talk about ICT studies, where we talk about natural sciences, engineering, and such fields. And you can see that in India we are really doing good. We still need a lot of things to overcome, but still, if we see other countries, we can see the gender gap. Everyone is overcoming the gender gap. In India, we are still, because India is a developing country, so compared to some developed countries also, India is doing better. Now, women a minority in industry 4.0 fields. Now this graph shows the share of women in top 20 countries, share of professionals with artificial intelligence skills. So you can see that USA has 23% share. USA is a developed country. It is having 23% share of women in artificial intelligence. India is having 22%. So comparatively, if we compare USA and India, India is a developing country, USA is a developed country. We are almost with them. The share of female is almost same as India in USA. Germany has only 16% share of females. Switzerland has 19% share. Canada has 24% share. France has 21%. Spain very less, 19%. Singapore is doing a little better. It is having 28% share. Sweden, UK, Netherlands, all are having around 20%. Poland is again very less. It is 16%. Australia is having 24% less, similar to Canada. Brazil is having very few share of female, 14%. Italy is having 28%. Belgium again very few. South Africa is having 28%. Mexico is having 15%. Argentina is having very less. Argentina and Mexico are having very less, 15 and 17%. So if we see the highest share of women in artificial intelligence skills, we can see Singapore, Italy and South Africa are doing better. But even in the better, they are just having 28% share. So where is the other share? The other share is coming from the other gender. So still there is a lot of gap even in the developed countries. This is all the more detrimental in light of the severe shortage of people with the skills needed to drive Industry 4.2. The irony is that the fields most relevant to Industry 4.0 are the ones where women remain underrepresented in most countries, namely IT, computing, physics, mathematics and engineering. So we are focusing on such fields. In such fields, still women are not represented, they are underrepresented. Women may be working, women may be having skills, but they are not represented. They are not even known that they are having skills. However, emerging economics show encouraging counter trends. As we talk about India, as we discussed, we are still doing better as a developing country. Now, if we talk about women in technical and leadership roles in selected top multinational technology companies. So, as we know about Facebook, so women in technical roles are 23% women are working in technical roles in Facebook, and 33% women in leadership roles in Facebook. If we talk about Apple, we are having 23% of women in technical roles and 29% of women in leadership roles. So although these top multinational technology companies are making progress, they are still not even close to closing the gender gap in technical and leadership roles. You can see about others like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Samsung, Huawei. So you can see that women in leadership roles are doing quite good. In Amazon also 27% women are there for leadership roles. In Google also 26% are there. So we are certainly doing good, but still there is a gap. You can see if it is 33%, where is the other person coming from? So it is coming from the other gender still. So of course we need to close the gap. The gender gap in startup activity at venture capital investment. Now any startup activity is there, the share of female among startup founders is there. So you can see it is quite less. Where do you see the here the innovative and entrepreneurship is essential for economies. If we talk about USA, you can see it is between 10 to 15%. Again Mexico, Indonesia, UK, China, all are having between 10 to 15%, and in the other countries, India is having around 10%. In the other countries like Turkey, Korea, Russia, France, Brazil, Argentina, Germany, Japan, they are having even less than 10%. So women are doing new things. Women, new startup activities are there, new ventures of capital investment are there, but still the share of female in such sectors is still very less, which has to be closed. This is the share of females among the startup founders, startups. Now if we talk about women inventors, a narrowing gap in patenting activity. So you can see from this graph, there is the recent growth in the number of ICT related patents featuring at least one woman in the team of inventors is a much welcome sign of the possible narrowing of a historical gender gap. If we see ICT patents with women inventors, you can see the labeling where the graph is there. So the share is there. Now it is better. In 2000, after 2011, certainly the graph is going high. We are doing quite better, but still the gap is there. You can see 2015, the gap is reducing. Equal opportunities, we are assigning patents in other fields with women inventors. We have classified total ICT patents, and out of which how many patents are ICT patents with women inventors. So we can see the gap. The recent growth is shown out of 2004, 2005, 2006, 7, 8, you can see it went down 2009, and again after 2009 the number of patents are also increasing. Patents, total ICT patents are also increasing, and out of that we can see ICT patents with women inventors. So these are the patents featuring women inventors in G20 countries. Now the women who changed the technical world. If we talk about the women who changed the technical world, these are the 10 women who really changed the technical world. If you can guess, one is Ada Lovelace, Grace Hopper, Hedy Lamarr, Annie Isley, Mary Wilkes, Adele Goldberg, Radia Perlman, Katherine Johnson, Karen Spark Jones, Elizabeth Feiner. contribution. Why are these the 10 women who changed the technical world? So Ada Lovelace was the first computer programmer. Grace Hopper was the American computer scientist. Hedy Lamarr, she invented the basis for all modern wireless communications, signal hopping. Annie Easley was the American computer scientist, mathematician, and rocket scientist. Mary Ellen Wilkes is a lawyer, former computer programmer, and logic designer, known for her work with the LINC computer, now recognized by many as the world's first personal computer. Adele Goldberg is an American computer scientist. She participated in developing the programming language Smalltalk 80 and various concepts related to object-oriented programming. Radia Joy Perlman is an American computer programmer and network engineer. Jane Johnson was an American mathematician whose calculations of orbital mechanics as a NASA employee were critical to the success of the first and subsequent US crewed space flights. Carol Spark Jones, FBA, was a pioneer British computer scientist. Elizabeth Jockey J. Fenlier is an American information scientist from 1972 until 1989. She was director of the American Information System Centers at the Stanford Research Institute. So once again, take a look among these women. Yeah. So these were the 10 great women whose developments or inventions I just showed to you. And otherwise, we are not familiar with all these, right? We should know these were the women who really changed the technical world. There are no men over here, all women who changed all these inventions. Now, what is the importance of digital media in women empowerment? If I talk about women empowerment, what is women empowerment and why it is needed? If we talk about women empowerment, we want every woman to know her self-worth. We want every woman to know what she is. Her own importance is not known to her. There are skills which are not represented. So we want every woman to know her self-worth. We want her skills to be represented in front of the world. So where do we know we lack the gap in gender. Now, importance of digital media and women empowerment. Why is the digital media and how it is useful? If we talk about Facebook, of course, millions of women in the world are connected to each other using Facebook. So this is one of the social media channel by which all women can connect to one another. If we talk about YouTube, even if some women does not know how to read and write, she can use YouTube because she can watch the videos. She can watch the videos in any language she wants. Even if she doesn't know English, she can watch YouTube videos. So of course a lot of knowledge is gained. And women empowerment also can be transferred through these channels. If we talk about Quora, lot of question and answers are there. Any women can connect to each other. They can discuss their opinions all across the world. Of course, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all is for connections. So these are the importance of digital media in women empowerment. All these connections will connect the women in the world, and the women empowerment will be encouraged. Women empowerment programs, if they are going on, of course, through social media handles, we can transfer to one another, and everyone can be a part of such program. If we are having such workshops, all the social media handles will help us to promote, and all the will help us to make all the women aware, right, that how women empowerment can be encouraged at this place. Now, if we talk about technology, the pros and cons for women empowerment. Now, why technology? You must be saying why cons of technology for women empowerment. So, technology is helping close the gender gap by empowering women. Technology can be the key to providing equal opportunities for women around the globe. So technology is definitely providing all the opportunities to close the gender gap. It is giving all the information for empowerment of women. It is promoting all the channels of closing the gender gap, of breaking the bias. It is the key of providing equal opportunities for women all over the globe. Okay, we are talking about equal opportunities. We are not saying women should be given more opportunities, women should be given some partiality, but we are just talking about providing equal opportunities of women around the globe. Okay, there is nowhere we are talking that only opportunities should be given about women, but we want to close the gender gap. At the same time, if we talk about cons of cons of technology, ICT remains an area where women commonly experience discrimination and exclusion from access to digital jobs to cyber harassment. A lot remains to be done in order to achieve a level playing field. The digital age will create opportunities for everyone regardless of gender. So why we say that ICT remains an area where women commonly experience discrimination? Again, the digital technology comes. Women are not so adapted to the digital technology. All over the world, as I told, only 85% of women are there. Otherwise, some are not connected. How many million women were not connected all over the world through the digital technology? That was also shown. So, at the same time, technology is helping close the gender gap also, and at the same time, it is also a disadvantage because women are feeling that they are excluded from access to digital jobs, to cyber harassment. A lot remains to be done. The barriers to women accessing having careers in technical industry must be broken down. This needs to start at the grassroots level through education and training, giving girls and skills to enter the technical world. So it has to be started through childhood. When a girl or a boy, when a child is born, from that time only we are creating the bias. At every home we are creating the bias. We are giving cars to the boys, we are giving dolls to the girls to play. Why? So we are creating the bias. We are giving pink color to the girl and we are giving blue color to the boy. Why? What is the gap? So we are closing the options. We are not giving options to both the genders about equal opportunity in every field. If a male one wants to become a teacher, he can become. There is nothing like females have to go in teaching field and men has to go in engineering field and the technical and industrial field. So why is this there? Because we are having the gap right from beginning. Even when we see in the story tales, in the fairy tales, there are princes. So there is a prince who is supporting the princess and supporting her and protecting her. So why cannot a female protect herself? We don't need the other genders help to protect. So this what we talk about gender gap is right from the beginning. When they were born, we are discriminating different colors. We are giving only some options to the boys and the other options to the girls. So we are not doing good with both the genders. We have to give them both equal opportunities. Then once they have completed the 12th, as we talked, only some career opportunities are given to the boys and some career opportunities are given to the girls. Just break this bias. We are not saying give all opportunities to women. We are saying give all opportunities to the male also, because we don't want any gender to get less options. They should be open up in all the fields. Now, if we talk about US, women make up to 47% of all employed adults in the US, but as of 2015, they hold only 25% of computing roles, according to data from the National Center for Women and Information Technology (NCWIT). So women are holding 47% of the employment adults, but after that they are holding only 25% of computing roles according to data from the NWCT. Now out of the 25% of women working in technical field, Asian women make up just 5% of that number. Now if we see that Asian women are still should be given lot of opportunities, while black and Hispanic women accounted for 3% and 1% respectively. So out of the 25% of women working in technical fields, we can just see the share of Asian and Hispanic women also, and the black women also. We can just see the share. There is a lot of gap still which has to be filled up. Now there is a call for the companies, especially those who are in the sector, in the technical sector, to have a vision of having more female scientists participate in technological innovation and to promote more diversity in science and technology. Okay. So of course equal opportunity should be given for women. If there is a higher position in the companies, so men are given the first opportunity to take this position, even if the female is more capable than men, still the male is given the opportunity. So why is the male given the opportunity in that case? Just because of the bias that is set in all the minds. Just because of that, men are given the opportunity. If we have an opening for a higher position at a company, so and 7 males and 3 females have applied for that position. So they are just not seeing the 3 females. They are just concentrating out of those 7 male CVs, which CV to take and which position to give to this male candidate. They are not considering the women positions. Why? So of course there is a call for the companies who have to give equal opportunities to all the females in the technological innovation. And women's leadership is more in line with the contemporary transformational leadership model, which take advantage of women's good communication skills. And cooperative power has to be replaces dominant power. So as we discussed that we don't want a dominant power. Just now the dominant power is ruled by the males. We don't want a dominant power, we want a cooperative power. We are not saying the maximum positions should be given to the female employees, but we are saying an equal opportunity should be given to both male and female regardless of the gender. They should see who is more capable of the jobs and they should recruit and give positions according to that. R&D teams, research and development teams need to be diverse, including women's perception of technology and special contributions in order to meet the needs of all human beings for technology and products. So of course research and development teams are still doing better. There were no women in this field some time back, but they are need to be more diverse. They should include women's perception of technology and special contributions. Then only in digital learning everything will go ahead, new innovations will take place. Now if we talk about digital, getting ahead at the digital workplace, what you should do, why, and how you should do. So women should be proactive and take all the opportunities and responsibilities for their own advancement. So some things have to be done by the women only on their part. Like if I say the first one is be open to change and moving outside your comfort zone. Sometimes women themselves restrict themselves that I don't want to take this job because I am going to reach home after 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So you have to be open to the change if you want the equal opportunity. You will not get some opportunities if you are not able to cross this barrier. So you need to move outside your comfort zone. If you need to move or change job rules to expand your digital skills, for example, it is all part of your career journey. You should need to do that. You need to move, you need to change the job rules, you need to expand your digital skills. If you are not good at some technical devices, some technological devices, you have to work on them. You have to take out time. You should be open to change. First thing is that. A 5-year change cycle is quite common in the field. So you should, if you want a better career, you should be open to take better opportunity. You should be able to open to learn new things. Maybe that may give you less time, but you need to go ahead with this. Second thing, don't hesitate to share your goals. Now I've seen many women are having some aspirations, some dreams, but they are not able to share their goals. Why? You should always share your goals with your manager or your colleagues. You should let people know where you want to be and what skills you want to develop. That will help the other people know that what are your goals. Sometimes that will be helpful to achieve for you to achieve that goal even earlier. Then next is identify and connect with both female and male mentors who can help you in your career path and can act as sponsors within the organization to support your progress. So what is most important is that the mentor understands what women can bring to the business. Only if the mentor can understand, then only we can go ahead with this. So you need to identify and connect with both female and male mentors who can help you in your career path. If you are stuck up somewhere, you want to obtain your doctorate, that's the most common thing going on in the teaching field, going on in the universities. So if you want that, you should be able to identify where is the career path, who will help you in this career path, what is the most important. So by the time you realize, you should have both female and male mentors. And of course, if there is a male mentor, he should be able to recognize that yes, I have to help this female in her to give her better career opportunity. I have to give her in the organization. So the mentor wants what women can bring to the business. He should understand. Other is be ready to take risks. Now sometimes if we see women are not very much fine to take risks, they are avoiding that. No, why to take risks? Even at a job place or of taking up some position, they are like, no, I don't want to take risk, I am good at what I am doing. So that should not be the thing. Like, be open to take risks. That will give you new opportunities, new things of learning, gaining more experience. In gaining more experience, insert yourself into new projects and enjoy learning on the job. So you need to insert yourself into new projects, then only you are going to learn something new. Now for that project, again, if you want to learn some new digital technology, you should be a part of that technology also. So new risks have to be taken. So of course, so don't be scared of anything. You should be open to face the change. Don't hesitate and be ready to take any risk. Then finally, be agile and keep moving forward and embracing the external global shifts and opportunities. STEM fields have numerous job opportunities waiting to be filled and are projected to grow at least 13% until 2027. So there are a lot of opportunities going on which are going to take place in the next decade, we can say. So you need to open up yourself, face the change, give yourself an equal opportunity where you feel that you can do something, you can just go ahead with that. Take different responsibilities. Using that, you need to learn something. You will get to learn something when you are taking some opportunity. You will of course learn a lot, be it digital experience, be it a working experience. In whatever field you are working, you are going to get some experience. If you are part of the new projects, there also you are going to learn something when you are part of the new projects. And finally, you have to keep moving forward. You have to embrace the external global shifts and opportunities. So, on concluding this, I can say that the gap will be filled only if both male and female are going to help in closing the gap. No, female have to take equal opportunities, as we talked about, that being open to the change and equal opportunities. Female has to do her duties, like what she wants to do. If she wants to do something new, she has to open up. And males have to give the equal opportunity to females, be it be workplace. Of course, a lot of support from the family is also needed, because if the family is not supportive, the lady is not able to work, so we are not able to represent her skills to the technical world. So that is a very big bad luck for the women. So as we talk, both the males and females should give equal opportunities to the women, be it be workplace, at home, with the working timings, with the equal opportunities. And of course, when we talk about equal opportunities at workplace, if there is if a woman wants to move outside the location, she wants to change her location, so they are not given the preference that no, you have to take a job only where you are staying. Why? If the male can take equal opportunity anywhere where he wants to go, the whole family is going to shift. If the male of the family, if the head of the family, the male of the family is taking some job out of the state, out of the country, the whole family is shifting. But why equal opportunity is not there for women? So that bias has to be broken, that gap has to be closed. I'm not saying that the whole family has to move with the women. Just because the women wants to change the job, the whole family has to move behind her. I'm not saying that. But when a woman is given opportunity, so both the genders have to make equal contribution in taking the decision that where we should stay, how we should go ahead with the new opportunity. If it is better for her, she can move down for some time up till the family. This is the way the decision has to be taken. It should not be like, no, you having an opportunity outside the country or outside the state or outside even the city, so you are not allowed to go there. So this should not be there. Equal opportunity should be given, and both the genders, inclusive the male and female, they should be allowed. A joint decision should be taken on where the girl is going to work, if the female is getting a better opportunity elsewhere. So of course, such workshops are giving awareness, but we can conduct more workshops. Digital training should be there, where women should be empowered in digital technology. So this should be done from our part. So thank you from my side. So any questions or doubts, or I'll just stop sharing the screen. I hope I was audible all through.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So network issue, it was quite fine.
Okay.
Yes. You talked about using the social media, right?
Yes.
Yes. So how, only one question from our end.
Sure.
How that would help the women for that digitalization?
Ma'am, I'm not able to hear you clearly. You are saying how the
Yes, social media.
social media.
Yes, would help the women to develop their skills and all that.
Okay, so social media handles, like for a very small example, you have organized this GUJCOST seminar, right? So of course, for promoting, you must have used social media handles. If we promote on Facebook, the awareness will be there, the others will be able to know. And like many women across the country, across the world will get connected. So of course, for these connections, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. If they have some doubts, some question and answer, then we have Quora, otherwise for promotion of gender equality or women empowerment, everywhere we are having for all the promotions we are using the social media handles. So this way, for connecting and for promoting of breaking the bias and closing the gender gap, so social media handles will be used.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us today. It was very nice listening to you. And this session will surely help our students as well as faculties for future development of women. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us.
Thank you so much.
Bye.